morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at one of the most exciting Pokemon that we have seen in quite a long time. It's a new Dragonite, and a lot of people are going to love this. I have long said that if you want to have a Stage 2 Pokemon with an ability, it had better be a pretty gosh darned good ability. Well, ladies and gentlemen, check. Now, the HP is about what we would expect at 160. It's the same as the Sun and Moon Dragonite, which is quite nice. The retreat cost of 3 is actually rubbish. We'll get to that in a minute. And the weakness to Fairy kind of sucks, because Granbull's been making a push lately, Gardevoir's making a comeback, and Sylveon is still relevant. Add that to the Dragon typing, which hits nothing for weakness, and you are far from ideal here. Although we do have some Dragon tricks, we'll get into them in a moment. But what's really, really good here is the ability. And according to the lovely David Hochmann, we like David Hochmann, it says that once during your turn, you may search your deck for a supporter card and put it into your hand. You know how that whole Tapu Lele thing? How Tapu Lele is this phenomenal card that's been central to the format for well over a year now because it allows you to search for supporter cards? Yeah, it's that. But it's not when you bench it, it's every single turn. You get one of these on your bench and you never dead draw again. The only way you can have this out and not be able to get rolling is if you don't have any Cynthia in your deck or you don't have any Tate and Liza in your deck. It is absolutely wonderful. I posited the question in the thumbnail and in the title as to whether it might be better than Tapu Lele. And I know there's some lazy people out there that might want to term it clickbait, but no. Because it is a genuine, legitimate question. In a lot of ways, this is better than Tapu Lele. It is consistency like nothing else. Now, there is actually one way to turn off this ability, and that is with a slacking in the active. Glaceon won't work, you're not a GX. Alolan Muck won't work, you're not a basic. The only way your opponent turns off this ability is with a slacking in the active. Once you get this out, that is one supporter per turn every turn. And it's not just one supporter per turn, it's the exact supporter you want every single turn. We've all been in those situations where we have an Oranguru on the bench and we draw 3 cards and you draw a supporter you don't really want. You were looking for the Cynthia, but you know what? You've got a supporter. It's fine. Yeah. No need to worry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're golden. Now, there is a huge downside to this, and that is that you have to get set up. It is a Stage 2. Tapu Lele is a basic, this is a Stage 2. That's the problem. Now, the good news is we have ways around this. Alolan Ninetales has been seeing a lot of play lately. Alolan Ninetales, when you evolve up into it, you get to search your deck for 2 item cards and put them into your hand. Now, clearly, the item cards you want to be going for here, one of them is going to be a rare candy. And let's not forget it evolves from Alolan Vulpix. So you use Alolan Vulpix to search for Alolan Ninetales and Dragonite. You use Alolan Ninetales for a rare candy and whatever else you want. And then you're off and rolling. And I know I've mentioned this in a few videos, but Alolan Ninetales, and there are more decks we're going to look at over the next weeks and months that are going to prove this even further. It has made Stage 2 decks viable again. And oh look, now we've got a Stage 2. But the thing is here, we don't even necessarily need Alolan Ninetales because we've got Lance Prism Star. Lance Prism Star is a phenomenal card. Now, you can only play it if you had a Pokemon KO'd the previous turn. Search your deck for up to 2 Dragon Pokemon and put them onto your bench. Very important, it says Dragon Pokemon. Not basic, just Dragon. So you don't even need to play the evolution line here. You can just go straight ahead and search your Dragonite with Lance and put it straight onto the bench. Downside of this, and it is a significant downside, it's a Prism Star. You can only put 1 Lance in your deck. So what are we going to do? Are we going to now use Tapu Lele to search for Lance? And you can. And that's the thing, even if you don't eliminate Tapu Lele, even if you don't stop playing Tapu Lele altogether, what you can do here is just play 1 or 2 Tapu Lele where you would be playing 3 or 4, because you can guarantee you're going to get what you want every single turn. Imagine playing a fairy deck and knowing that the second your opponent KOs a Pokemon, you can use a Diantha to go and then search out whatever 2 cards you need from your discard pile. Now, and this does need to be mentioned, it's a huge point, this does not replace Tapu Lele on turn 1. After turn 1, the second Dragonite's out, it is way better than Tapu Lele. Tapu Lele gets turned off by Alolan Muck, which is seeing more and more play as this format develops, and I think this is only going to increase. Tapu Lele gets turned off by Glaceon. Tapu Lele gives up 2 prizes, and you need a new bench space for every Tapu Lele. Dragonite, you get it out and it just sits there. It basically doesn't get turned off. You never need a new bench space. You never need to search it out again. Because remember, if you want a second Tapu Lele, you've got to search out the second Tapu Lele. You've got to find a bench space for the second Tapu Lele. As soon as turn 1 has ended, this is better than Tapu Lele. Assuming you get this on turn 2, of course. And let's face it, we've got things like Makago and Oranguru, which are seeing a lot of play. But the thing is, Oranguru, basic ability Muck, and that's 2 bench spaces. And your opponent can take out either the Oranguru or they can take out the Makago, and then you've lost that combo. To be fair, your opponent can take out the Dragonite here, but you've got 160 HP. That is a lot more beef than a 90 HP Makago. I know, right? And that is just one of the many good things about Dragonite, what it's bringing to the table here. And just like with Tapu Lele, you can use this to search out your one-off supporters. You can play 1 copy of Team Skullgrunt, and if you're sure your opponent's got energy in hand, you can then play it. You can play 1 copy of Faber and search it out when your opponent has just dropped a special energy down, I don't know, double colorless energy, to guarantee that you're going to be able to get rid of their double colorless energy. And that brings me to another great combo with this, Pal Pad. Pal Pad puts 2 supporter cards back into your deck. And one of the worst things about Pal Pad has always been that you use Pal Pad to put the supporters back into your deck, but then you've got to find them. Maybe you've got Makago on your bench to search it and put it on top, and an Oranguru on your bench as well, but again, 2 bench spaces turned off by Alolan Muck. And let's not forget that if you want to use Oranguru, you'd better get down to at least 2 cards in hand, if not fewer. That's a bit awkward. With this, the second you play the Pal Pad, you're off and rolling, and you can guarantee you've got that supporter, and that's brilliant. We have been seeing decks play 1-0-1 Swampert lines. A very thin Swampert line to give you added consistency. Now, even if this wasn't a phenomenal card that was going to see playing in a whole bunch of other decks, it is and it will, but even if it wasn't, it would instantly replace Swampert in those decks, because you can discard a card from your hand and draw 3, or you can guarantee the supporter card you want every turn. I know which one I'm going with. Now, there is a significant downside other than the evolving up. It's the retreat cost. The retreat cost of 3 sucks, ladies and gentlemen. It's awkward. Your opponent can use a Guzma to bring it active, and you're stuck in the active. Having said that, we do have a couple of really good supporters, Guzma and Tate and Liza, which function as switches if only we had some way to search them out when Dragonite was in the active. Wink. Now, in terms of the attack, it's super not important here, because the ability's phenomenal, but just in case you care, it's a water, lightning, colorless, 120. Now, to be fair, 120 sucks, but Dragon Pokemon have Devoured Field, which means you do an extra 10 damage, so now all of a sudden you're doing 130, and these common non-GXs like Boswell, Shining Lugia, Granbull, etc. will go down in a single hit, which is pretty gosh darn nice. The energy cost sucks, but we do have Super Boost Energy. Super Boost Energy If it's attached to a stage 2 and you've got 2 more stage 2s on the field, you get to have 4 of any energy. You can use that in a pinch. Being a dragon Pokemon, we do also have Zinnia. If you had a Pokemon KO during your opponent's last turn, and that is any KO during their turn, doesn't have to be from damage from an attack, you can attach up to 2 basic energy cards from your hand to one of your dragon Pokemon. Good, but you've got to have the energy in hand. Once again, you can always get Zinnia at the perfect time because you're playing Dragonite. I know, right? Is this better than Tapu Lele? On turn 1 to get set up? No. The Ultra Ball for Tapu Lele to get you that turn 1 whatever, let's say Lily, is still a combo that this cannot match. But firstly, the second this comes out, it's better than Tapu Lele for all the reasons I've outlined. And secondly, we expect Tapu Lele to rotate out in August. Even if you are steadfastly convinced that Tapu Lele is just out and out better than Dragonite, and I wouldn't be too mad if you were, it's going away in August. But how many times have you needed that last Guzma to win the game, but you've got no more Tapu Lele left in your deck? Or you've got no more bench spaces? Or you're just not able to draw into it? Get a Dragonite on your bench, ladies and gentlemen, and you've got the Guzma. There is no more, oh, I lose if my opponent has a Guzma. You see they've got a Dragonite on the bench, you extend your hand, you shake. This is a 5 Wassy card, and honestly, this is the kind of card that makes me look beyond it. I'm not telling you that every single deck ever will put a Dragonite line in. No, of course they won't. I am telling you that any deck playing Rare Candy will put a Dragonite in. You might as well, you're already playing Rare Candy. And I can tell you that a lot of other decks will find a way to put Dragonite in. Here's the thing, you might as well even just play a 1-1-1 line. Because either your opponent Guzmas and takes out the Dratini, in which case, fine, I mean, it's a little bit annoying, but they're going after my basic on my bench, not my attacker. Or they let me get my Dragonite up, and then I've got this ability, which is Redonk. Oh yeah, very quick side note, I know this is the same ability as Staraptor FB Level X, and I know that that didn't see a phenomenal amount of play, but 3 points on that. Firstly, it did see quite a lot of play. Secondly, Uxie was in the format at the time. Thirdly, Claydol was in the format at the time. Staraptor saw play in a bunch of decks, even when Uxie and Claydol were legal. Yeah, I think that says a lot. But ladies and gentlemen, my gushing time is over. Your gushing time is beginning. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, because there's more Wassy action over there, and I think you might enjoy it. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.